Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Level 1 podcast. I'm DSP, and it is Sunday. And you know what that means? It means it's React Day across all three of my channels. Here on DSPGaming, we have a nice chill podcast. Then we swing over to the DSP Reacts channel for my weekly clips show, DSP versus the Internet. And then later tonight, on my third sister channel, DSP Throwback, we're going to be doing a retro react stream to the Walking Dead Telltale series, so 2. So, good stuff all around. No gameplay today, but gameplay returns in full swing tomorrow. I hope I find you well. I hope your weekend's going good for you. And I hope that you're in a good mood. And if not, hopefully we can turn that around for you today here on the show. I got a confession to make. A huge one. You ready? This one's going to rock the internet, so you better prepare yourselves. All right, so buckle your seatbelts. All right, get ready. You ready for this one? I really don't have much to do on the podcast today. There's not much going on. I was looking at news, and it's like there's really no game news going on. I don't really have any updates for anyone. I would like to quickly talk about some technical stuff that happened yesterday, but outside of that, it's a more chill show. It's a not very exciting show. So what I would say is, we'll go through our usual stuff. I want to recap what happened yesterday because obviously there was some stuff that happened briefly. And I want to give an update on the co-op, which did not happen, but will happen next week. I want to do the schedule. But outside of that, that's where we're at. So perhaps today we could do Q&A. We could do the schedule. Not schedule, excuse me. We could do Q&A. We could do the suggestion box is what I meant to say. We can kind of do whatever you guys feel like, all right? So we'll see. Now, by the way, FYI, I'm likely now going to be in spring and summer attire for the foreseeable future into, the fall. Reason being, our temperatures here have consistently stayed in the 60-degree Fahrenheit range this week. When it is around 60 degrees and the sun is out, as it is today, this office heats up to about 80. So I can't be wearing long sleeve shirts, sweaters, long pants in that kind of weather. I'd be too hot. So I'm basically adjusting now fully. So you may have noticed this week, like, wow, he's wearing new shirts that are short sleeve shirts and stuff. That's what it is. And this is just going to continue throughout spring and summer until probably when it cools down. You would think it would cool down by September, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it actually takes till like October. Good news is, I did up my wardrobe game in the last month or two. Every once in a while I go out and I grab some new stuff. Like you see today, this is a brand new button down. And again, I don't buy anything new. I just want to say here, every time I go out, I either get it from one of those stores that's like a reseller, meaning it's a store that like for example, Marshall's or Burlington or what's the other one, like TJ Maxx, where it's clothes that didn't sell at the full tag price. So they buy it for a very discounted pennies on the dollar style price, and then they resell it in their stores. The stuff's new. This stuff is literally new, unused, but I don't buy it from like a name brand store. And for example, I got a Izod shirt. That's last season's, line. It's not the brand new shirt that just hit the shelf, but it's last season's style. And it's a really nice shirt, green with palm trees and stuff. And I went to Kohl's and I looked at the full price shirts, and the full price Izod shirts of that same exact clothing line sell for around $50. I got the Izod shirt for $12, and it's brand new. And that's what I recommend you do. Don't go out there and go to the name brand places and spend insane, exorbitant amounts of money. If you can avoid it, what's the point? Also, I go to this clothing store, and what they do is they take in clothing from places, and they buy off like clothing. They don't buy anything that's old or tattered or worn out. They only buy stuff that's either new or like new. They clean it and then they sell it. And so a lot of the shirts that I get actually are from a store like that, and that's even cheaper. They're like $8 to $10 shirts that are brand new that look really good. In fact, the shirts I've been wearing the last few days, I got from a store like that. So I strongly recommend you check that out if you live in the United States or whatever and you have those stores. They're not that bad at all. As long as you don't go there when it's super busy and people are like throwing clothing all over the store and being animals like they tend to be during busy days, go on an off day. Like I always have a day off on a weekday, and you go in there when there's not a lot of people, and you can shop at your own, pace, and it's pretty good. Okay. Anyway, So yes, you'll be seeing me wearing shorts and nice short sleeve button downs and things like that, probably for many months. I mean, it's April, so April, May, June, July, August, probably like next 6 months. I'm probably gonna be like half and half from now on. Like 6 months of the year, you'll see me with the short sleeve stuff and shorts, and the other half it'll be more long sleeve shirts and pants and sweaters and sweatshirts and stuff like that. So anyway, good stuff. And there you go. Let's now continue and talk about yesterday. First of all, yesterday, I had a bunch of technical difficulties, and I apologize for that. If you were watching yesterday's podcast on demand, you may have noticed the volume was way low again. And I said, "What happened, Phil? You in the last couple of months, you adjusted all your audio stuff. You boosted your mic level, right? So now it's much louder, and we don't have to have our volume cranked to 100 to hear you anymore. You have all these noise gates and filters and things on your mic, so we don't hear big explosive sound into there anymore, right? So essentially, it's been good. Like, what happened? I don't know. It's so weird. Somehow, my filter's turned off. So, like, right now, I go onto my mic filter and I hit advanced properties, and it says, I have a mic boost of 4 decibels. And that's where it's been for like a month and a half. And when I went in there yesterday, it said 0. And I'm like, what happened? I don't know, because I didn't change it. And my OBS doesn't update. It doesn't auto-update. It prompts me for updates. It can't even update anymore because my Windows is so outdated, OBS can't even update any further. So I don't know how I lost that filter at all. You know, I don't know what to say, and I apologize there. So the whole podcast was too low, and when I started playing Elden Ring yesterday, the whole first half hour, people were like, dude, we cannot hear you. The game is way louder than you. And I was like, really? And then I looked, I was like, what the hell? And I added it, and then it was perfect for the rest of the stream, and everyone's happy. And I was like, what the hell? Now, in addition to that, I had a bunch of equipment failures yesterday. As I'm playing Elden Ring, basically my PS5 is telling me my controller is about to die. It has low charge. And I'm like, my controller is plugged in. How could it have low charge? So obviously that means there's something wrong either with the USB port or the cable. And I'm like, let's check this out. And I checked everything, and it was the cable. The cable was faulty, which sucks because I just bought a bunch of these cables in December. And the fact that they died within 4 months means they're really shitty. In addition to that, my PS5 controller was giving me pretty bad stick drift. It kept having my character look up at the ceiling. And how am I going to play Elden Ring when I keep looking upwards? I'm going to die a million times. So I said, I'll go use the other controller. And I go and I pick up the other controller, and the thumbstick is completely deformed and melted. And I was like, what the hell? Like, when did that even happen? I have no idea. So I'm just flabbergasted. That controller had sat right there on a glass shelf, isolated from anything, for like a year. And I go to finally pick it up and use it, and the whole thing disintegrated. It's like, these controllers are not durable, man. So I had to rush order a new controller and a USB cable, because I was expecting to do the co-op last night with my wife. And, you know, that's on PS5, and I wanted to have a controller that was going to work if we were going to do co-op. So I ordered right away, and it was going to be delivered like lickety-split within like the few hours, and I was going to get it at some point during the night stream. So it did arrive, and now I do have a new controller. Galactic purple is the color, but on the camera, for some reason, it shows up as like a blue. But it's basically a bluish purple is the color. So I guess the camera is like tinting it slightly one way. But it's nice. I haven't used it yet, but it looks nice. You guys voted for the color, by the way. I did a poll, and you guys voted during the Elden Ring stream for purple. That's what I got. And I got a brand new USB cable, which is way more expensive than the ones that I had bought in December. But I hope it's durable now because it was so much more expensive. It's Anchor is the brand. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I've heard of it before. I've seen it in stores, so hopefully it's good. So I'll be using this from now on my PS5 for all the games that I'm playing. And hopefully it'll be good. You guys will like it. All right? There'll be no dropped inputs and no freaking stick drift and no problems with the battery either. I mean, ridiculous that they had battery issues like that. Okay. So, all those technical issues yesterday, and then on top of that, the co-op got delayed again. And I know people are upset. I already gave the full explanation of it last night. Because last night, instead of doing the co-op stream, I did an impromptu just hangout session with viewers, and it went well. We had good attendance. People were, very engaged. I usually do those like once a month now. Whenever something just doesn't line up perfectly, or if the schedule gets screwed up, I usually do a hangout session, and they do fine. So it went well, but in a nutshell, my wife's schedule this week has been completely thrown into disarray because her job changed her work schedule. She hasn't adjusted to it. It screwed up our day off, which we were supposed to have a day off for our anniversary. We had to delay that. Then because we were out the whole day for the day off, it set her back with the stuff that she usually does around the house. Just errands like washing clothes and stuff. And so yesterday I went downstairs after my first stream, and she was completely stressed out and frazzled trying to do everything. She's trying to cook dinner, which usually would be done, wasn't done. Then she's trying to wash clothes. The freaking washer keeps giving an uneven load error, and she can't finish the wash of clothes. She's like, now I got to rush. I got to get ready for the stream. I was like, all right, you know what? It doesn't make sense. The whole point of us doing co-op is to have a nice, relaxing, fun atmosphere and enjoy this game. If you're going to be so stressed out because this stuff is going on, we shouldn't do it. And she agreed. So basically, we're doing it next weekend now. Okay? And I know, again, people, I want to see the co-op. Where is it? I know, but wouldn't you rather wait? You know that they say good things come to those who wait. Wouldn't you rather wait and have it be a fun stream than, for example, similar to that second Dondoko Island stream, where after an hour we were all bored and stressed out and like just, this sucks. When you're in a bad mood already because other shit is going on, or you don't want that to rub off on the stream. And this is the premiere stream of the game. Obviously, we want it to be nice, open, relaxed atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't have worked last night. If we did it, we could have done it. We absolutely could have done the stream, and it probably wouldn't have gone as well, and people would have all been complaining that it wasn't fun. Like, yeah, well, that's what happens, right? So, definitely, there will be co-op next week, unless another circumstance happens, which we hope it doesn't, but that's life. Same time, same place, Saturday night of the coming week is when we're looking to do the co-op of Beyond Two Souls, okay? Outside of that, Elden Ring playthrough is continuing on very nicely. What I really like about this run of Elden Ring, which I actually didn't foresee happening, when I was playing this last year, and I got through the first 39 hours of it, basically it was almost a cakewalk. And what I mean by that is at first the playthrough was tougher because I was basically a glass cannon. I was dying instantly to almost everything, but my magic was so powerful that as long as I stayed away, I was kicking everything's ass. Very different from the jump R2 gameplay style of my first playthrough, right? But then, when I got about to the point where I quit and now I come back, what I'm noticing now is that my character isn't as much of a glass cannon. Still weak and dies within like 2 hits for anything. But basically, I can't just nuke everything with the same strategy. For example, sometimes I'm fighting a boss and I could just spam the rock spell. Rock Sling. Rock Sling spell is physical damage. So it's like hitting an enemy 3 times in the face. And if you do that 3-4 times in a row, it staggers. And almost every boss that I fought that is vulnerable to physical can stagger with this spell, but depends on the boss. Because some of the bosses move so fast you can't hit them. Some of them just come right in your face and you're like, well, now I can't even hit this thing, right? So that's good against some bosses. But other bosses, it doesn't work. So now I got to adjust my strategy. Well, I got a spell called Night Shard where the boss doesn't see it, so it can't react and dodge or get out of the way. That's been useful. Now, I got the big nuke, which is called the Comet Azure, which is essentially a Kamehameha from Dragon Ball. But to really get it to work, you've got to do a setup where you drink a flask where you have infinite MP, and then you put down a symbol that boosts your magic damage on the ground, and then, boom, you can nuke. But, again, this works against certain enemies and bosses and not against others. Some people it can even stun lock, and others, they just sidestep right out of it like you never even hit them. So it doesn't really work all the time. Sometimes it's an amazing Hail Mary, yes, do it, destroy them, and you feel so powerful when it works. And other times, it's just a complete waste of time. You're like, well, that didn't work at all. So now I started to get other spells in the playthrough. I've now got this spell that I got from the Magic Dragon on Ronnie's Rise. Well, not Ronnie's Rise, but the plateau where Ronnie's questline is. And this is just a big magic sword, and it just swipes through everything, and it staggers a lot of enemies that normally would not stagger. I guess it really interrupts poise pretty well. So I've been using that quite a bit yesterday. And then on top of that, I now have another new spell that's a rain of stars that comes down and hits a ton of times. And this is good against really big enemies that basically can't really get out of the way, and they just get pummeled by like rapid fire hits. And now I got another new one I got yesterday that I haven't really used yet, but apparently it's like a giant rain of comets coming down, and people are saying that one's really good too. So I haven't really tried it yet. I have to try it. So yeah, like what I like about this build now, if one thing doesn't work, I've got like 4 other things to try and go through and rotate between. And then on top of all of that, I actually have a good sword too. I have the Dark Moon Greatsword, which is essentially the Moonlight Greatsword from Dark Souls. And it allows me to do like some physical attacks, and even that has like a magic projectile. So I have like so many options. And in the original playthrough, it was literally jump R2 the shit out of everything, and then switch weapons and use a weapon art. Like that was it. That was my first run. This run's actually becoming more and more interesting. The further I get in, I'm actually having way more fun with this run, I feel, than the first one. In addition, because I already 100%ed the game in the first run, and I know where everything is, it's not like I feel like, oh, I have to go explore further. Like, I don't feel pressure. You know, with that first run, it was like, I don't know how long the game is, and, you know, I don't know how much time I'm going to spend in it, and I want to do all the content. I don't want to miss anything. This is a more relaxed playthrough, and I'm actually really enjoying that. And what I like is that some bosses are just getting melted by magic, while others actually, I feel, are kind of tougher than the first run, dependent on the boss. Like, these Astal alien bosses have been way easier than the first run. But then other bosses just kind of, like, slap me around like this, like, to kill me with 2 hits. So, I get the feeling as we get to endgame, it's going to be a mix like that. So, I'm really enjoying the run. I hope you'll continue to watch it. We still got a lot to do. We still got the remainder of the Mountain of the Giants. We still got Farum Azula. We've still got the whole Blood Palace area. We've still got the rest of the path to the Halig Tree. Then we have the Halig Tree. So we have all this stuff to do. The run will continue probably for several more weeks. Excuse me. Okay. So, that's what happened yesterday. Let's go over the schedule. Today is React Day, which means after this chill podcast here on DSP Gaming, we head over to DSP React for my React show, DSP versus the Internet. It should be good. We always have a variety of stuff. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had just enough clips to fill the entire show, and everyone's clips got watched, and people were satisfied. Last week, we had way more than enough clips, mostly due to the length of some of the clips. Like, some of the clips were pretty lengthy, and I was interested in them, so we watched them for longer. And because of that, the show ended up basically only watching half the clips. So every week it's different. Some weeks we can get through everything, and other weeks we barely get through anything. It just depends on the clips that are submitted. This week, we have less clips than were submitted last week. And on top of that, I definitely noticed most of the clips are very short. Like, I think there are a few 10 to 20 minute clips, but most of them are like 3 minutes long. So if this is the case, right, we might get through the whole thing. I'm actually looking at the clips submitted this week, and I'm like, we may actually get through the whole show early. And if that's the case, if we actually finish early and we have all the stuff done, I might ask you guys about what you would be interested in watching. So we'll see how the show goes and go from there. Because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. We might not have time for that. Maybe some of the clips will run long. I'll have a lot to say. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm getting some questions in the chat about how does this show work. So the show, first of all, is not here. It's on my React channel, DSP Reacts. You can find it at youtube.com/@DSP Reacts. Okay? The weekly show we do every Sunday. The way the show works is that clips are submitted by 2 groups. All the groups are members of the channel, meaning you have to become a paid member of the channel in order to become a part of the show. If you become an ultra member, which is the highest level and tier of membership on that channel, we watch your clip no matter what. It's guaranteed to be watched 4 times in a month. You get 4 weeks of getting your clip watched for being an ultra member. So, pretty good value. You get into 4 different shows, okay? If you become a submissions tier member, which is way cheaper, I think it's like $5 or $6, then you put your 2 clips a week up into a randomized playlist. I literally hit shuffle and play, and we just watch the playlist in a random order on YouTube. So you have a chance to get your clip watched. Some weeks, everyone gets their clip watched. Some weeks, only some people get their clips watched, depending on the lengths of the clips and how much I have to say. So that's how it works, okay? And that's literally how the channel operates. Sadly, React content like that channel, all of it gets claimed on YouTube by third parties, so I make no revenue on the videos. Like, none. I'm uploading those videos, and it's just like no income at all. So the only way to keep the channel operating is the membership model. All right. So thanks to people who are members over there. If you're interested in becoming a member and possibly submitting those clips, you know, go for it. And no, it's not game clips. Someone just said, is it just game clips? No, it's everything. We watch mostly, it's like comedy skits, documentary style videos, you know, these video, what do they call them? Video essays, scientific stuff. We've watched videos on politics and religion before. We watched stand-up comedy, game reviews, you know, yes, gameplay. We've watched a lot. We watched some of my old stuff from over 10 years ago, you know, tons of stuff, big variety. That's the whole idea, is that it's a variety show. The only difference is no detractor videos, because obviously we're not just going to sit on someone ragging on me the whole time, and no content that's flagged as adult only or kids only. I know that sounds weird. Like, so nothing for adults and nothing for kids. No, nothing that's flagged as for adults or for kids, because on YouTube, if you can believe it, both of those pieces of content are deemed non-monetizable. And if I run it on my stream, it literally will get my stream shut down, which is really stupid. But yeah, it's happened where we watch a clip and all of a sudden the whole stream gets flagged as adults only, and now no one can watch the stream. Stupid. So, if you're interested in that show, if you're here live, just stick around. When this stream ends, when this podcast ends, I should say, a link pops up. It says click here, go over to the React channel, and it'll just bring you right in. That's my show this afternoon. If you watch the show on demand, check out the DSP Reacts channel. We do it every single Sunday, and I release multiple parts. There'll be 2 parts live today, and then another part every day for the next 4 days over the course of the week. It keeps the channel moving with some new content every day. Okay? Now, that's the first stream. Tonight on the late shift, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, on my DSP Throwback channel, which is youtube.com/@DSP Throwback. There, we're going to be doing a retro react stream to the Walking Dead Telltale series. This is one of the earliest narrative-based games that I ever did. You know, there were a few before there, like Back into the Future or Heavy Rain. But this one actually got a lot of attention and prominence on YouTube. Everyone loved the Walking Dead game. And a lot of people watched my playthrough of it and loved it and ended up checking out my content, you know, moving forward past that because they liked the playthrough so much. It also is probably the first playthrough I ever did on YouTube that made me feel so emotional that I kind of cried at the end. So, we've already done episode 1. This week, we start episode 2. The thing is, episode 2 is very lengthy. It's about 3 hours long, and my late stream's only around 2. So, we'll probably get through around 2.5 hours, and then we'll pause, and then we'll resume next week. So, hope you'll join me for that. Last week, it went really well. People who showed up were very engaged and supportive and really enjoyed it, and I hope that we can keep that momentum going. That's tonight on the late stream over on DSP Throwback. Okay, cool. Now tomorrow, the Monday the 15th, we resume with gameplay. It'll be Helldivers 2 on the first stream, now using my new PS5 controller for the first time. Got to break it in. And then the late stream will be the conclusion of Alone in the Dark, the Emily side run. We absolutely should have enough time to wrap it up. Sadly, as I told you guys the other day, I can't get the secret endings. Why? I missed one collectible. And the collectible is missable, and you can't go back and get it once it's gone. And that really pisses me off because it's basically purposefully meant to be missable. Like, it's in a nook. Like, there's like a hole in a wall that you can't see. And the only way you know it's there is if you walk towards it, a symbol will appear to say press A. And then you go through the hole. It's not like it's visible from where you're moving in the game. They did it on purpose to make it so hard to find so that it's a missable item so you can't get your secret endings. I'm like, that's bullshit. You know, they shouldn't have made it that ridiculous. But we will finish off the game on Monday night and see what Emily's standard ending is, and then, you know, finish up the playthrough. I'll give you my final thoughts on the game. Tuesday, we're going to try a new game called Harold Halibut. This is a game that's going to be on Game Pass, and apparently the game looks like claymation. When I was growing up, claymation was huge. You had the California Raisins, you had the Claymation Christmas Special, among many other things. I remember Pee-wee's Playhouse had claymation and stuff in it. So at the time, stop motion animation with clay, you know, claymation, was really, really prominent. And then it just disappeared. I think that came with the era of 3D rendering and computer graphics and things like that. Here's a game that says we just want to go back in time and kind of make a whole game out of it. And that's pretty crazy. So I'm excited to see what it is. Now, if the game is terrible, we don't have to play it ever again. It's a Game Pass game. No risk there, right? But if the game ends up being unique and interesting, then we'll keep it in the rotation. We'll see what happens. All right. So that's Tuesday's daytime stream. And then on Tuesday night, it's going to be more Street Fighter 6. I'm actually going to do a whole night stream of Blanca this time. You know, I've only used Blanca for about an hour since I returned last week. And now I want to get back into, you know, Blanca and getting better with him and learning better strategies and, you know, getting the rust off per se. So that's going to be Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, it'll be more Elden Ring. And then Wednesday night, I'm leaving completely open. And here's what I mean by that. I want it to be a stream that we do whatever we want. If we want to do more of this Harold Halibut, if it's a good game, we'll do that. If you want to see more Helldivers 2 multiplayer, we'll do that. Maybe you want to see Star Wars, the Battlefront Classics collection, return just for a silly night stream because we had a lot of fun doing it a week and a half ago. It was still broken, but it was still fun, right? So maybe you want to see that. And if that's the case, maybe we'll do that. All right? So I'm leaving it open on purpose so we can just think about what we want to do and just kind of pick and have a good time. So let's think about it. And then, you know, we'll determine what it's going to be, and we'll have a nice final consecutive stream of the week Wednesday night. Next week, we'll continue on with all the current playthroughs. Next week, there's another new game. It's actually called Another Crab's Treasure, and it is a Soulsborne-like game. It is. It's like Dark Souls, but it's with crabs and aquatic creatures. So don't tell me how that's going to work, but I will know soon because someone submitted the trailer for it on today's show of DSP versus the Internet. So we're actually going to watch like the preview together to kind of get an idea of what this is. So we're going to check that out. It's also a Game Pass game coming out on the 25th. So we'll give that a look too and see if it's any good. And again, if it's good, keep it in the rotation, right? Why not? All right. So that's the schedule. All right. And outside of that, as we've begun talks about, there will be a marathon coming up probably at the end of May. And the ideas that I have are either a fighting game fiesta, where I play a variety of fighting games, including Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, and retro fighting games on Fightcade on my mini PC. But in addition, we can watch back some footage and clips of me playing fighting games back in the day from tournaments, and I can react to that. Also, I could tell you some stories of fighting games and stuff. I'm sure you guys would ask questions, and I could tell you, you know, different stuff about my days as a fighting game player. My wife would make special food for that. It would be a good time. All right, that's one idea. Another idea I have is an Indies Marathon where you guys will nominate and vote for indie games. I haven't done an Indies Marathon in many years, and usually when I do these, they work out pretty well because they expose me to a bunch of games that normally I wouldn't be exposed to, games that I usually ignore, okay? And sometimes these games end up being interesting, and I actually play them as like a full playthrough on the channel. And another idea someone had is a Rageathon, where basically people purposefully nominate games that they know are difficult and rage-inducing. For example, in the past, games like Ninja Gaiden Black or Super Meat Boy have worked for Rageathons. So these are our ideas. Let's continue to think about these. If anyone has an opinion or a suggestion, or you have a prominent preference on what you'd like, let me know, and we'll got to start to plan this. I'd say let's take another week or two to figure it out, and that way we can kind of start to hype it up and build it up for the month to figure out exactly what we're going to do. Especially if we're going to do that one with fighting games. I want to have time to set up Fightcade on a night stream probably and get it working, okay? All right. Cool. And thanks. Already people are giving their feedback. Like Drew Corporation says, I didn't even recover from the 9 months of Street Fighter Overload. Yeah, I would prefer an indie showcase stream. There you go. So that's his opinion. Okay. Guys, as I said, no exaggeration. I just don't have a lot for today's show, which is good. It's good that not every show that we do is packed with things from end to end, like a stuffed bookcase, right? Instead, sometimes we can have some breathing room and some space to just kind of spread out and chill and say, enjoy the spring air. It's relaxing on stream today. I can stretch out, I can feel the breeze, and I can say, what are we going to do now? I don't know. So we have some options. Option number one is that we literally just open up to Q&A super early, and we see what you guys want to talk about. Option number two would be suggestion box. Option number three is I get up from the chair and I walk away for half an hour and you can stare at the chair. Any of them are pretty valid suggestions, I feel. Like, any of those are good options. So what do you guys think? You fought against me in Street Fighter and Multiverses. You'd love to do Injustice 2. I likely am never going back to Injustice 2. Very, very. At this point, it's a dated game. By the way, Injustice 2, I felt never played well online. The netcode was very laggy and bad, which made certain characters almost unbeatable because the whole point of the game was to have different kind of combat. Some characters were rushdown, some characters were zoning. Well, you can't beat a zoning character if the game lags. It's just impossible. So I didn't really like Injustice 2 online because of that. So yeah, I'm not going to be going back to that. If they ever make an Injustice 3, I would check it out, but no interest in Injustice 2. Okay. Well, some people seem to be saying suggestion box. Let me see if I can pull up the old suggestion box. Let's see. We're going to sort by newest first. We're going to scroll down. Let's see if I can find the last one. We read this one. Okay, I'm finding the right ones. We read that one. We read that one. I think we read that one. I think we read that one. All right, my apologies if we have missed some of these. But let's just start from here. All right, because this one I don't recognize. So, turn back on comments for videos that have the comments turned off. Well, here's the deal. With that, excuse me. I don't know what you mean. If you can clarify. Technically, there shouldn't be videos with the comments turned off, but there probably are. All right? Allow me to explain the history of DSPGaming and what happened with this channel, okay? I opened DSPGaming in 2010. At that time, I was very popular on YouTube and everyone liked me, okay? I operated this channel for about 4 years, and I never really saw anything negative thrown towards it. When I moved across the country in 2014, all of a sudden, boom, I was hit with tons of negativity, toxicity, and trolling activities. I noticed attitudes change towards me, right? I started having people try to purposefully ruin multiplayer sessions. I saw people try to ruin chats. I saw people start leaving crazy amounts of negative comments on my videos. And at that time, it was basically just, oh, this video sucks. And who cares? Leave the negative comment, downvote the video. I don't give a crap. You can leave that, right? It's not a big deal. Then in 2015, it ramped up. Multiple false copyright strikes against my channel, and I got swatted. And then in 2016, it continued. And basically, it just kept escalating. It got to the point where it was a meme to hate on Darkside Phil, and people were actually, get this, competing to leave the most toxic, hurtful, nasty, disgusting comment they could on my videos. Why would they do that? Because then that comment would be highlighted in one of these negative videos about me. There were actually people who would take clips of a playthrough and then look at the comments and look for the nastiest ones. So it wasn't that these people genuinely cared. They just wanted attention in a video. But the thing is, the things they said were ridiculously harmful. Some people were doxing me and my family members. Some people were leaving racist, sexist, awful things, accusing me of pedophilia. You know, the worst level of shit you could see on the internet. And it got so bad in 2017 that I actually got contacted by some of my longest running fans behind the scenes. And they banded together and started writing me and were like, just so you know, it's to the point where it's so bad in your video comments that, like, we don't even want to watch your content anymore. Like, it's not even a fun, productive place to be because the moment we press play, we look down and there's insanely bad stuff down there. Now, we know you're one man and you can't moderate every single video or whatever, so we recommend you just turn your comments off. And I was like, okay, I guess this is what we have to do. It was just this ongoing process. Like I said, it started around 2014, and every year it just got worse and worse to the point where it was like the breaking point. All right. Now, here's the thing. Did I want to turn off comments? Absolutely not. But YouTube didn't have a real way to fix things back then. It was either comments on or off, or if you're going to sit there and moderate all your comments, right? So, basically what I did is I did turn off comments. And yeah, it hurt my channel. Absolutely it did. It hurt my channel. It hurt my content. You know, it's one of the reasons why the channel had a big decline is because people can't, there's no sense of community. But there already was no sense of community because the comments were so vile, anyone who wanted to be positive couldn't do that, you see? So it was either like, be completely negative or have nothing. I would rather have nothing than have complete negativity. Maybe other people disagree and would rather just have comments on and let these idiots just have full reign of whatever they want to do. I didn't want that, and I turned it off, okay? Comments were off for a good 3-4 years, but I continued on. I had video views. People watched my streams. They contributed. I continued on. Turning off video comments did not kill me. Might have killed other content creators. It did not kill me, all right? But then when I returned to YouTube full-time in 2021, I left Twitch because of the big fiasco over there being insanely unprofessional and treating me awfully. I said, well, now if I'm going to be back here full-time and all my efforts will be focused on YouTube, then I want to get a community building back up again, okay? And so I wanted to look into turning on video comments. And lo and behold, in the 4 years my video comments were off, YouTube instituted a new system that would catch comments and basically put them through a filter. It would auto-filter for words that were harmful. So any racist words, any really nasty sexual words, stuff like that would be auto-caught and filtered out. I also had the ability to put in certain catchphrases and words. Like I could put in, street addresses and shit that people were trying to dox, and it would catch those and filter it out. Any other comments that essentially were not deemed as ultra harmful go into a queue that I look at, and I read the comments and I approve them. All right, and then they show up. So now you can leave comments on all of my videos for the last 3 years, and all you got to do is wait a little bit. They don't show up instantly, but as long as it's not some kind of a toxic ass comment, it shows up on my video within like 24 hours, because I go to the queue a few times a day, and I review the queue, and I approve. Now, I'm going to be honest, it's not foolproof. What I've noticed, sometimes if I'm checking the app on my phone, I see certain comments. If I then go to the comment section on my desktop, I see different comments. How does that make sense? It should all be the same. But YouTube is a piece of garbage with people who code really weirdly, and it's just so odd. I wish it all worked well and it was 100%, good and kosher. It's not. It just doesn't work half the time. So I know for a fact there's people who leave comments and they never show up. And then they say, Phil, what happened? I didn't leave a toxic comment. I was trying to be positive. What happened? I'm like, I don't know. YouTube ate the comment. There's nothing I can really do. I have to work with the tools available. If I open comments completely 100%, that whole troll element will just come right back. And they'll just continuously flood the videos with really nasty, toxic stuff on purpose. And it'll go right back to how it was pre-2017, where everyone hated the comments and didn't want to watch the videos anymore. So the way I see it is, if the lesser of two evils is to have the comment filtering system where I can at least get some of the comments on the videos, right? And I'm sorry to those whose comments get eaten, okay? Now, what this comment is saying, or this suggestion is saying, is turn back comments on all of your videos. I thought I had, but maybe what happened was in 2021, all that happened is all new videos at that point had comments turned on. Maybe that's the case. Because I know for a fact, you could still leave comments on my old videos from pre-2017. All right? But I think you're right. I think there's no comments on any videos from 2017 to 2021. They're all off, right? So I guess the question is, how would you do that, right? Like, for example, right now, if I went to my channel, I'm looking at all my videos, and I click on, I don't know, select all. All it says is 30 videos selected. Now, how would I select all videos forever on my channel? I don't know. And also, what are the actions that I can do here? Edit. There is comments. On with comment moderation. Pause comments or turn all off. That's what it says. Okay? So it looks like it's possible. But I guess the question is, how do I select all of my videos on my channel? I think I hit select all. Now it says all videos selected. What does that even mean? Does it mean all videos on my channel forever? And now if I try this and I hit comments and I hit on but comment moderation basic, I could try it. Let's see what happens. You're about to update the selected videos. The update cannot be stopped once it is started. I understand the implications of this action. Well, this is just turning comments on for moderation. This isn't deleting videos. This isn't, you know, destroying my channel. I guess we'll try it. You ready to see what happens? This could fuck everything up. I hope not. Updating videos. It's safe to navigate away, but wait before making another bulk update. So, let's see what happens. I'm trying it. I hope it doesn't screw the channel up. Basically, what this should do is have comments on all videos, but with the moderation feature. So, you could comment on any video, but don't expect the comment to show up right away. It's going to go into my queue, and I have to approve your comment. Okay? There you go. Exactly. What could possibly go wrong? Well, with YouTube, they'll probably think that I just tried to delete all my videos, right? Knowing YouTube. I mean, I'm not even joking. Doing anything like this on YouTube is a huge liability because YouTube doesn't work right. It's just, they act like they're the best site on the planet. Like they're a bunch of brainiacs. In reality, the coders at YouTube are some of the most ridiculous silver spoon in the mouth people. All went to Ivy League colleges. They all get coddled and treated like they're some special, you know, snowflakes. They sit there eating pomegrapples and doing, you know, meditation classes instead of doing work. I'm not kidding. They actually have like exercise meditation classes that they do during their workday over at Google. I wish I was exaggerating. I'm not. But yeah, like, it's just weird that the way that they operate as a company. So I would not be surprised that I just said, oh, bulk update all of my videos to turn on comment moderation. You know, so if anyone's to have the comments off, now you can comment on it. And this, like, deletes half my videos. Let's see what happens. It's running right now, okay? It says you can navigate away. The thing is, loud. This could take, I mean, DSPGaming is a 14-year running channel. It could literally take hours and hours for this to take effect. But I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't destroy my comment section. We'll find out later today, I guess. So there you go. Suggestion taken. Let's see what happens. Okay. This is just another person saying shorten the podcast, and you know I'm not going to even care about that. Set the DSP versus the internet playlist on DSP Reacts to order videos from newest to oldest. I think I did that. I think I've done this one. I think when I saw this comment come in, I actually went ahead and automatically did it. Yes, I did. I did. So now the latest clip is the one that shows up, not the oldest. Because for like a year, the original video was the one showing and nothing recent. So I changed it. So now it's the most recent video that shows up there. So that one, that suggestion was accepted and already applied a month ago. So there you go. Cool. I have to remember when I do suggestion box to periodically check for contributions and stuff because I don't see them pop up anymore. So no, nothing there. And shit. Oh, I clicked on the wrong. Shout out to Maddie, who became a super supporter member of the channel. Thank you so much, Maddie. I missed it because I was reading the suggestion box. Sorry about that. I appreciate that, Maddie. And I will have to keep my eyes peeled periodically for contributions. Okay. All right, let's continue. Now, again, this is these suggestions are outdated. These are from like a month ago. Let's listen to this. I think part of the toxicity in your Tekken stream stems from how you act when you play the game. It's rage and calling people names. And it fosters behavior from the audience. What? No, but the audience that says that does toxic things to me will do toxic things to me if I'm the nicest guy on the planet. That's just because they're toxic people looking to create a narrative. We talked about this 2 days ago. That doesn't matter what I say or do. They're just there to make me look like a villain. But I'll agree with you that there is a rage issue when I play fighting games. Particularly when I'm losing and I don't understand why. And I feel like I'm not learning. I've always said that if you're playing a fighting game and you lose, as long as you learn something from the loss, right? Then it's not a loss. It's actually, you're just collectively gaining knowledge that'll make you better over time. But if you play a game and you just get trounced, and it's like, dude, I have no idea why that happened. So I'm never gonna learn. That's what's frustrating. You know what I mean? So yeah, and that's something I need to work on. Oh, let's see here. There are times when I'm turning into your podcast. I love it. I want to send some support, but I don't. You don't do shout outs till the end of the show. My work can sometimes call me away, and I miss the end of the podcast and sometimes the stream, and I miss the opportunities to support. I think I speak for most people when I say we really enjoy the instant feedback from tips to super chats. My suggestion is you do shout outs throughout the podcast. I think that would make it more engaging for the audience, and guys like me who like these shout outs won't put it off and possibly lose the opportunity. Although I appreciate that and I understand where you're coming from, the problem with that is on the podcast, I have segments that are focused. So, for example, I might have a topic I really want to cover today that's important, whether it's a news story or it's an update about something going on the channel, and I got a story to tell or I got a lot to explain. And if I'm every 2 seconds stopping what I'm doing to do a shout out and stopping what I'm doing because of shout out, we'll never get through it. And a lot of the times you lose your train of thought, right? It'll be like, I'm telling a story and then I have to keep interrupting myself. And I know, where was I? And so that does suck. And I agree with you. It makes sense to get that instant gratification. It does. At the same time, at the end of the podcast is when I do all the collective shout outs, correct? So because of that, just watch the end of the podcast every day. And I mean, if you can't be here live, I get it. It's on demand. Just open up the show, scoot to the end of the podcast when you know the shout outs are, and there you go. And FYI, within 24 hours of every podcast being posted, there's AI generated timestamps that are in the description. So you can literally click on the timestamp to skip exactly to the point where the shout outs begin. And there you have it. Okay. The instant shout outs are definitely available during gameplay, because in gameplay, you could pause the game. You don't lose your train of thought. The game's still running, right? For me doing a segment that's very targeted at a certain topic, to interrupt it constantly and interrupt that stream of consciousness or that train of thought or that thing I'm trying to say, it doesn't benefit. I know for a fact because it's happened. There's been streams where I'm doing something and I get interrupted. I come back like, what the hell was I saying? And then I can't even get back to the point that I was trying to make because I can't remember what it was. So I agree with the notion of the instant gratification for contributions. I just don't think it works during certain segments of the podcast. It would make me lose my train of thought and ruin that part. See? Let's see here. Great goal. Some great goals for more money, okay, would be reacting to fair criticism videos of DSP, like the Turkey Tom documentary and other This Is How You Don't Plays. Even the haters donate for stuff like this, bringing back this for Patreon goals and tips, etc. Well, first of all, I tried reacting to This Is How You Don't Play. Do you remember the nightmare that created? Because apparently it's totally okay for people to take my content off of my channel, react to it on theirs, create their own content that then can be popular and give them views and monetization and popularity on the internet. That's okay. But if I try to do exactly the same thing that they've been doing for a decade, I shouldn't be allowed to do it just because I'm Darkside Phil. So when I tried to react to This Is How You Don't Play Metal Gear Solid 2 last year, 2 years ago now, Evil AJ tried to take it off the internet. Yeah, he literally tried to hide the video. He's like, oh, I don't want him to do that. Well, wait a minute, hold on. It's either it's good for everyone or it's good for no one. If you're allowed to do it, then I'm allowed to do it too. You don't get to be an asshole and hide your content because you're a scumbag to me. Which is the truth, is that the guy's a scumbag to me, right? So, someone else had already archived it and sent it to me, and I reacted to it anyway. He couldn't hide it, and there was nothing he could do about it, okay? Plus, what's hilarious about the situation was months earlier, he had outright given permission on his Twitter account for me to react to it, and then he tried to rescind it later. It doesn't work like that. So anyway, that was the one I ever did. And then after that, I was like, do I really want to get into this whole problem now with reacting to content and people saying that they don't want me to do it and arguing and everything? Legally, do I have a right to do it? Yes. Do I want to fight with every motherfucker out there who's just a little brat who thinks they can do whatever they want and I'm not allowed to do the same thing? No, I don't want to be arguing with every little brat on the internet. So that's why I basically stopped doing it. I was like, I did the one. I actually had a good time, but I really don't want to waste my time arguing with children. Because that's literally what they are. They're adult children. They're like babies inside of adult bodies because they're just idiots with the way that they act. Okay? So, there you go. Now, as for the Turkey Tom documentary, again, this is something where if I'm going to react to something, I want to be sure that at the very least, the person on the other end is not malicious in their intention, okay? And they're not trying to purposefully create an endless cycle of drama for personal benefit, okay? I was actually strongly considering doing an interview with Turkey Tom after his documentary about me, until I did a little bit of research and I found out some of the really disgusting things that he had said on the internet about people, including me. Things like, oh, I just can't wait to milk this person, or I'm milking them more for content. Man, I love it when they comment. I wish that they would just react to my documentary so I could get more, I could milk them further. And it's like, what? I mean, seriously, that's so fucking vile to say something like that. And just casually, too. Like, oh, it's just a casual statement I would make on the internet. It's fine. And no one will call me out for it. It's just okay. We're milking people left and right. You know, it's what? You're literally publicly admitting to using people in a toxic and negative way for personal gain. That is vile. It's completely immoral. Why would I then want to give you more attention, right? So that's when I said, nah, forget it. Even though people said his documentary on me was kind of down the middle. It wasn't, oh, I hate this guy, but I like this guy. It was like down the middle, kind of fair. Although he was harsh in certain parts, which I expect. And I expect that from every documentary about me with the mistakes that I've made over the years, right? But basically, yeah, after that, I was like, wow, it opened my eyes to it. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to be reacting to anything unless I'm absolutely sure that someone is trying to cover something neutrally or fairly. And so that's why I'm considering later this year reacting to the June the King documentary, because I know he attacks things from a neutral perspective. Now, by the end of the day, even June the King might hate my guts for the stuff I've done over the years. And you know what? What's fair is fair. He has the right to have his own opinions. But at least I know from the perspective he's going to try to cover it neutrally and fairly. I'm curious what kind of information he even dug up on the internet from stuff like the Street Fighter days, because nothing exists. Like, it's just like forum posts from forums that are dead, IRC discussions that were never archived. So I don't have no clue what he's going to find about stuff, you know? And I think that's going to be fascinating. And I don't think June the King's intention is to continuously milk Darkside Phil for 6 to 8 months. You know what I'm saying? He's going to put out the documentary. He's interested in doing an interview with me after, depending on how my react goes to his documentary. And then after that, we move on. You know? So, I guess we'll see. Okay? All right, let's see. So OP Boone says, in regards to you doing some Patreon private react videos that had copyright issues, I'm thinking about the Patreon copyright situation. I think the best way to move forward is to treat reacting to copyrighted material like riff tracks. Record only your webcam and microphone when you react to copyrighted materials like music videos. Audio and video for your capture device are muted and hidden. Give a 3, 2, 1 play countdown to each video so the patron can sync their video up on their end and watch your commentary. That way you can easily fulfill your end of the $50 patron pledge with no troubles. It's actually an interesting concept. That if you don't have no clue what he's talking about, I do have a Patreon. I never mention it, literally because it's kind of a legacy thing. I don't have any exclusive content on Patreon whatsoever. My Patreon is essentially, hey, if you're a longtime supporter of mine and you wanted to support like behind the scenes on a subscription basis and you don't care about the streams or anything, just pledge to my Patreon and, you know, once a month, it contributes and it helps behind the scenes. That's essentially what my Patreon is, okay? But I do have one particular perk level where you get something, and that's the $50 level. If you pledge $50 to my Patreon, I make you a private video. And it could be anything. It could be me reacting to something on the internet. It could be me doing private Q&A, answering your questions for 20 minutes. You know, it could be various different things. You could ask me a question. I'll just talk about a certain topic for 25 minutes. So anyway, this has become more prominent in the last year or so, these private videos that I make for people. And I've done tons of different ones. But yes, the issue is copyright, where I basically have an issue where I make the video, and I'm like, now what do I do with it? You know, and I try to upload it to YouTube, and the goddamn thing gets blocked because of copyright. And I'm like, so now what do you do? But what I've been doing, I actually have a workaround for it. Basically, I'm starting to use third-party sites now, like YouTube, forget it. I just upload it to a file sharing site, and then people just get it from there. And it's up to them to decide, do I just want to keep this on my computer locally forever? Do I want to attempt to upload it to a YouTube or another site and get it viewable? That way the burden is on them, right? I don't know why I was putting the burden on me. I think that was pretty stupid. Let the burden be on the person who financed the video to figure out what they want to do with that video. Okay? So that's what I'm doing now. And actually, I've done that for 2 straight months, and it's worked well. So I think I'm just going to continue doing that. That way I never have to worry about the video being blocked. But the RiffTrax take is interesting. What the RiffTrax guys do, if those who don't know, you guys might remember a show called Mystery Science Theater 3000. Now, I think the show is defunct now, but it used to be one guy and a couple of puppeteers, and they would sit there watching old public domain movies. Most of the time, terrible movies. And they would do commentary over it that was hilarious, like razzing the movie constantly. And there would also be these skits and plot lines in between the movies they watched to make it seem like more of a show, a comedy show, rather than just narrative or a commentary over a movie. The show did incredibly well for what it was, low budget. It blew up. It ended up getting multiple seasons. It's in syndication now, and it gets tons of syndication money. They run it on YouTube marathons. That makes money. They rebooted it once or twice, and that made more money. So the idea works, but the problem is you can only do that with public domain content. You can't watch someone else's copywritten content and comment on it like that, because that's considered copyright infringement. It's not, oh, I'm doing it for the purposes of I'm not doing a video review. I'm literally playing the entirety of your work, and then I'm commenting on it. So, for example, no, you would not be able to play the entire Spider-Man No Way Home movie with that kind of commentary over it, because they say that's a copyrighted work. You can't do it over that, right? Only if it's public domain is it allowed. So what they do is they call it RiffTrax. They'll play a movie. So let's say they'll hit, all right, everyone, press play on Spider-Man now. And then they'll just record just their commentary, not the movie, as an audio file. You can pay for a subscription to their site, and you get access to all of their RiffTrax audio files. So you can watch the movie for yourself, which is your own deal, how you get it, right? Whether you pay for it or you borrow it or whatever you're doing, streaming service. And then you just hit play on both things at once or whatever. And now you can get their commentary over the movie. It's a way for them to skirt the copyright law, because they're not technically distributing the movie. They're only distributing their commentary over it, you see? So that I understand that's an interesting take and an interesting idea. Maybe that would work. Long term, if anyone was interested in maybe having me do commentary like over a movie like that. But the thing is, so anyway, just so everyone knows, my private videos are about 20 minutes long for a $50 pledge. If someone wanted me to commentate over a movie, I mean, you're potentially talking like, if it's a 2-hour movie, that would be like $300. I don't think anyone wants to pay $300 just to commentate on a movie. So I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, I'm just saying. It's an interesting idea regardless. Okay, we have a shout out to do, and I don't want to miss it. So I think maybe, let's see here. Let me just minimize the suggestion box for now. I don't know if we'll go back to it, but at least let me focus on this, so that way I don't miss it. Like I said, the problem is I don't get to see the pop-ups for contributions when I'm doing suggestion box stuff. It's funny, my preview window on my PC for the podcast right now is very choppy. Do I look normal to you guys on stream? I hope so. Sometimes the preview window just looks bad, and I don't know why. I'm watching, I'm like, wow, I'm like 15 frames per second right now. I'm like ghosting across the screen. I don't know why. But hopefully I'm a good frame rate to you guys. Okay, so I received a $5 tip from John Lambo. Let's see here. This is a very long comment. I'm gonna read it. Let me get the animation going. It's a very long comment. I think there's multi parts to it. Get him up on the leaderboard, and then let's see what the comment is. Okay. So, you're a 16-year content creator. That is correct, I am. I suggest when you take your break, when I take my break. What break is he talking about? He's talking about when I take a shit after the podcast and before I start with the content of my streams. Anyway, he says, have a playlist of any of your videos uploaded. It could be unboxings, vlogs, cooking, BioShock playthrough, etc. You could take a normal 30 to 45-minute break like everyone else. You can play the video during your break, not rushing yourself. Relax, and who knows, we could probably find another original Vest moment, and you have YouTube Premium. It's a win-win. Oh, I understand what he's saying. Not for me. He's saying for you. What he's saying is, if I go on a break, right? Like, let's say I finish this podcast, and I'm going to take a break before I start gameplay. All right? Basically, he's saying hit play on a playlist that has, like, my classic content in it, so people can watch some of my older content on the stream rather than seeing on break or just my empty chair. Do you see? And then people can watch that content and maybe talk in the chat and do all that stuff when I'm not here. And what he's saying is perhaps what'll happen is some people would contribute. Maybe some people would find a cool moment from the past that they'd like to bring up and become a new meme or something like that. All right. I've never really thought about that. I would have to think about what it would be. Like, what should it be? Should it be release day unboxings from 100 years ago? Should it be a playthrough? Should it be, we'd have to think about it, I guess. And what I would have to do is set that up on the YouTube app. And I'd have that on the screen and just hit play on that, and you guys would watch it when I'm not here. I would have to set up probably a series of playlists, because I do have YouTube Premium on one of my YouTube accounts. Just one. I'm not getting YouTube Premium on multiple accounts. That'd be pretty stupid. So I just have to be sure I'm logged into that account, make the playlist on that account, and just sit there and hit play, and then go on my break and come back like 15 minutes later, and you guys have been watching something for 15 minutes rather than just been sitting around bored, All right, that's a potential interesting idea. If that's the case, what kind of videos would you guys like to see? That's an interesting question. What videos would you like to see me play during the breaks? Not to say that the breaks are prominent, because they're not. Usually I take one break, right? The entirety of a streaming day like that. But I guess the question is, what would you like to see? All right, so thank you to John Lambo. Valid suggestion. It's funny because that's a suggestion that wasn't in the suggestion box. We just took it randomly from another place. But what kind of things would you guys like to see in there? Some people are saying cooking with the king. No, this is how you don't play. Those aren't my videos. I can't play videos that aren't mine, genius. I can't play videos that I don't own on my stream. What are you talking about? Man, that was a dumb suggestion. I have to own them. Some people I don't get it, man. We literally just said the conversation. You can't play copyrighted content you don't own on your channel and do commentary on it because, I can't watch Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh, gee, Phil, why don't you play content that you don't own? Duh. Anyway. Let's think about that. Let's take ideas. What kinds of stuff would you be interested in seeing, right? If I were to do something like that. Maybe I can make a few playlists and hit play, and that'd be an interesting suggestion. All right, anyway, thank you for that, John Lambo. I received a $20 tip from 1 Minute Man. All right. Whoa. Why is there a capital I? Disturbing. Fix that. There we go. Okay, 1 Minute Man says, my opinion on Harold Halibut, it seems to be a well-made game, but I think that it is intended for a younger age range. It may be wrong for your audience when you play it more than once. I'm personally not interested, spoiled as I am with a recent RPG that you played. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked into it. I just heard it's claymation, and people were like, we're interested just to see what it is. So that's why I'm giving it a shot. I literally don't know what the gameplay elements are of it. I'm serious. Like I haven't spoiled myself. I figure it'll be like an honest, quick, first stream look at it. And if we play it for 2-3 hours and we're like, wow, this game is just not for us. It's kind of boring or kind of simplistic or kind of kiddie or whatever it may be, then we never have to play it again. But the cool thing about Game Pass is you have that opportunity to try to like taste games. It's like having a taste test without having to buy the meal, right? So that's what I think. Like maybe play it and see if it's any good. And if it's good, continue. And if not, that's fine. We don't have to play it again. That's my approach. So I don't know if I'll play it again after that. First, we'll find out. Okay? Okay. I received a $2 tip. Do I think that having trolls might be a positive thing? No. I don't even have to read the rest of your comment because there's these very weird people on the internet that are like troll sympathizers or troll apologists. And they have this very bizarre fucking theory that having trolls is a good thing because it gives you attention. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what people say. I can wholeheartedly tell you this right now. No. Having attention in general is not a good thing. You want positive attention in life. You don't want attention by any means necessary. Even though there are some content creators out there that think that, oh, the only way I can get attention is negative, so I'll just do drama shit. It's stupid. I'll give you some examples. If I didn't have a bunch of trolls stalking me at every movement, I could actually have some sponsors. I could actually have some products that I believe in that I could actually have on this stream that would actually, either pay me or have like those referral programs. And I would have additional income that would allow me to do things like take more days off a week and spend more time with my family or maybe go on a honeymoon. And I can't do those things because I have a toxic cloud following me around that no matter how I behave, they say I'm the devil. So if I were to ever get a sponsorship, I would lose it because they would harass the sponsor and the sponsor would leave. That's something that people without a troll base don't have. Literally, there are people way smaller than me that have sponsorships. People who get, 100 people on a stream. People with tiny Twitter followings. People with channels with like 20,000 subscribers have sponsorships that I can't get because of my troll base. You understand? Again, I'll say this. Out of the 99%, the 99% of people who watch me, okay? Excuse me, let me say that again. Out of all the people that watch me or know of me, 99% of them hate me. 1% of the people who know of me give me a shot and realize I'm not the devil and actually like, wait a minute. A lot of the stuff that they say about Phil is completely false. It's just done for the narrative of making content and monetizing it, right? But almost no one gives me a shot. So right now, if I didn't have a toxic troll base, even though I might be a small-time YouTuber, I would still be able to do things like collabs. Imagine if I could actually show up on someone's podcast talking about gaming instead of controversies around me. Imagine if the side scrollers wanted to interview me, but it was because they had a hot topic of something going on in gaming and they wanted me to be part of a panel to contribute instead of let's just talk about all the nasty controversial things your detractors say for 5 hours. But no, that's the life I have to live because I have trolls. If I didn't have trolls, things would be a lot better for me and my family. Okay? There is zero justification for the things they've said or done. Nothing that they have done has swayed towards the positive side versus the negative. I would be much better off if the trolls never existed. I would be prominent on YouTube. I never would have had a this is how you don't play movement that would have been so toxic. I wouldn't have gotten swatted. My channel wouldn't have had millions of views deleted and taking it out of the YouTube algorithm. Like there's a zillion things that trolls have done that are exponentially worse than the few trickled people in here who came in as a result of watching troll content and maybe now like me. Okay? Listen, I'll take it as it is. There's nothing I can really do about it, right? But essentially, I know for a fact that trolls have fucked with my life endlessly and continue to do so, by the way. Just because I don't actively talk about it all the time doesn't mean that they're not actively trying to fuck me over in ways you would never even believe if I told you, okay? They're fucked up, obsessed weirdos. And it's messed up the extent that they go for absolutely nothing. So basically, yeah, no, you're completely wrong, insanely off base. Like, not even wrong, you're insanely wrong. You're like one of the most incorrect statements to be made on this planet would be, oh, isn't it probably a good thing you have trolls? No, absolutely fucking not. If I didn't have trolls, I could literally be double the profitability that I have right now, seen in a positive light, seen as someone who could be part of an online internet community and not hated on constantly, right? There's so many things that would be better for me if I didn't have trolls. There you go. Okay. So there you have it. That's where we are as of now. We have a little bit of extra time. If anyone wants to talk, what's funny is people in chat are saying, are you aware that your troll subreddit has been shut down? No, I don't even know anything about it. I've never been to my troll subreddit. I know nothing of it. I don't even know what you're talking about, like how long it's been, if it's prominent, how long it's been running. I don't know, and I don't care. I have nothing to do with that. That's what I mean. I literally don't pay attention to that content, so I don't know anything about it. Hip hip hooray if it's gone, I guess. I don't know how it's affected me in any way because I've never been there. Now, what would you guys actually like to talk about? Excuse me. Yeah, I've literally never been to Reddit. Maybe every once in a while, there's a reason I need to go there, and I click on a link and it takes me there. I never have gone to Reddit actively for anything. It's literally like the most worthless thing on the internet. I couldn't even think of a reason I would want to go on Reddit. Why would I be there? What's the purpose of actually going there? Yes, I've seen 6 episodes of the Fallout show now. 6. And I'm waiting to finish it before I consider doing the review. It looks like I will probably finish watching the show, in the next few days, and I likely will do a review of it by the end of the week over on DSP Reacts. So once I finish the first season, all 8 episodes, then I will do a review for DSP Reacts. But as of now, the show's pretty darn good. The last episode to episode and a half took the show in a direction I did not expect it was going to go in at all. I literally never expected the show was going to be about this subject matter. And it's actually fascinating. If this stuff is canon, which I don't know if it really is, but if this stuff is canon to the Fallout universe, then this show is actually really interesting to anyone who likes the games and wants more lore. It's crazy amounts of that. So I guess we'll see. I have 2 more episodes to go and see what gets resolved and what doesn't. Sadly, with 2 episodes to go, I think what's going to happen on this show is there's just going to be a bunch of insane unanswered questions for other seasons. Because what's happened is you're getting more and more interesting explanations for things, but then tons more questions up here. And it's like, okay, well, then if that's the case, then what about this? Then what about this? There's no way they're answering all that in 2 episodes, So I guess we're going to have to see what happens. People in chat seem to be saying they're claiming it's canon. Okay. Will I do another Fallout 4 run when the update comes out? Maybe, Stealthy Kupo. It certainly wouldn't be anytime soon. Being that we just finished RPG Overload and we have other RPGs that are new that are on hold. I don't think that playing Fallout 4 makes sense. But I would consider it's one of the ones I've never replayed ever. So I would consider redoing it at this point. I mean, when did it come out? Was it 2015? So we're talking 9 years ago, right? Yeah. I mean, that maybe it's worth a second playthrough now. We'll see. We'll have to think about it. I mean, especially if it's for modern gen and it runs better, that'd be pretty cool. Do I think gaming is changing due to things like being unfinished at launch, modern politics, and being seen as more mainstream? I mean, you answer your own question. Why even ask the question if you already know your answer? Your question is self-answering. You literally mentioned 3 of the ways that gaming has changed. So, there you go. I have nothing to even add to it. Where does the show take place? California. Yeah, the Fallout show is in California. Particularly, some of it is taking place in Shady Sands, California. Yes, Fallout 4 is getting that update on I think they said it was the 24th or 25th of this month. Full 60 frames, upscaled graphics, better resolutions, and bug fixes for modern consoles, and all for free. Did I have any idols when I was growing up? Yes. New Kids on the Block. Oh, 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 the right stuff. Oh, yeah, they were hot, man. I had the whole poster collection on my walls. I had the jean jacket just like them. Oh, man. Nico says, do you think the rumored PS5 Pro is needed when most games are still cross-gen? No. I already told you I think PS5 Pro is a complete waste of time. If we have such great hardware right now that some games can run beautifully at 1080p 60 frames and others run at like 25 frames and look like shit, if the game devs aren't utilizing that hardware, what makes you think having even better hardware is going to change that? It's not. These game devs are just not taking the time to optimize anything because they're being told to rush games out for profits. So as long as the shovelware efforts continue from these fucking publishers forcing their hands, it doesn't matter what the hardware is. The games aren't going to be any better. And just say, oh, well, now you could go 8K instead of 4K. Yeah, and it still runs like shit. Who cares what K fucking resolution it's running at if the game is chugging along in fucking frame drops, you know? So no, I honestly don't think PS5 Pro is warranted or needed. Oh, 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 the right stuff. Anyway. Why don't I have a karaoke night on stream where I can belt out all the New Kids on the Block hits? Because how would I do that? You can't play any of the music. It's all copyright. It would just be me just singing. I used to do stuff like that when I was playing the MLB games. I would just sit there swinging at baseballs and singing songs that the chat requested, you know? But I don't know. I don't think there's real demand for me to do karaoke, honestly. I don't think anyone really cares. If I were the CEO of Xbox, what would I look to do? Make good games. You know, typically when you're a game company, you're in the business of making good video games, which is something that Microsoft has not done in the last 5+ years. It's pretty remarkable how they've somehow missed the script of what a game company is supposed to do. Wow. Xbox, the prominent game console, or at least we'd like it to be the prominent game console in the market. Maybe we should make some fucking good games for it, huh? It's baffling. Ventizi, I already said my piece on Stellar Blade. I'm not going to say my piece on Stellar Blade for the 100th time. There's no point in repeating myself, because no one listens anyway. Do I think devs should take a graphical downgrade from now on to invest more time in the mechanics? I think devs should take a stand and literally say this. Most of you out there don't play at 4K. We don't care if the capabilities of your consoles are 4K resolution. We're not making games at 4K anymore. Instead, we're going to focus on making games at 1080p, 60 frames, and optimizing them to be beautiful. Once we've perfected that, then we'll move on to 4K. The problem is the technology moved too fast. And now every game dev had to run to 4K resolution and never perfected anything else. So now the games will render at 4K and all run like dog shit. So it's fucked up. So why? Who the fuck plays games at 4K? I would guarantee you, if you do the market research, you will find out it's an infinitesimally small amount of the market that plays games at 4K. Most people just plug their shit in, boot it up, and play. They don't even know what resolution they're playing on. They don't care. This is the stupidest thing. Oh, 4K, you fucking nerd idiot. Shut the fuck up. Let the game play well, then worry about having the 4K resolution. Fucking idiots are just, oh, we got to keep pushing the boundaries. No, the boundaries need to stay where they are until we're good within those fucking boundaries. Enough is enough with this horse shit. I don't want my game that I don't play at 4K to run like shit because you had to have a few extra pixels. You can't even fucking tell the difference. They did. I know they did a study recently on. It was a Steam study, But the Steam study said something like, 80 some percent of people play 1080p or lower. It's a very small amount that care about higher res. Will there ever be another Gears of War game? There is. They're working on Gears of War 6. Everyone's actually expecting that Gears of War will have a new game announced this year. Hmm? Most gamers play at 1440p on PC. 4K is to flex hardware. Wrong. The study says that Steam games run at 1080p or lower. Most of them, like 80 some percent. That was the statistic. Wrong. Just because everyone I know plays at 1440p. Well, that's your friend group. The statistics say everyone is 1080p or lower. That's what they all say. Am I still looking at doing Final Fantasy VI Pixel Run? Oh, yeah, and eventually I will do it. Just not right now. We really needed to get away from RPGs. I think things are going well without the RPGs. I mean, we have Elden Ring. We're going to have this crab game we're going to try, right? We've got the Elden Ring DLC on deck, and likely the next RPG that I'm eyeballing would be Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, that if we play it. I don't know. I want to play it, but man, I don't know if it's going to work. So I got to think about it. Aaron says, I wonder how you filter out things like people playing on their laptops while traveling or something. You don't. That's the point. You don't filter that shit out. It's the market does not demand 4K. The technology advanced faster than the market demands, right? This is exactly the same as when every TV had to have 3D in it. Do you remember that movement? It was about 10 years ago. You went to the store and every movie or every TV had to have built-in 3D. Why? Most people never used it. Most movies don't render in 3D. So why did every TV have to have it? The technology advanced further, and then what happened is people realized, oh, it's not even fucking using this. And then all the TVs had it removed, right? So now it's 4K. Most people aren't watching anything in 4K. They don't even know the difference. They can't tell the difference. They wouldn't even know if you put on a movie at 4K or 1080p, or even some idiots wouldn't even know the difference between 720p. They still think it's fine. It's the same. Hell, half the time when you go to someone's house, they're watching a stretched out, incorrect aspect ratio movie, and they just, that's how it looks, right? They don't know. People act like every person out there is a technophile brainiac. They're not. They don't know anything. They don't care either. They just plug it in and watch, plug it in and play. They don't give a shit. So why are we demanding that literally the entire technology wave is based upon a standard that most people don't understand or use? And the problem is, it would be fine if the games were running fine. They're not. We can all collectively agree. Games are coming out unfinished, broken, unoptimized, and a huge fucking mess. And in some cases, it takes months for the game devs to catch up, patch those games, and make them run well. That is not acceptable. Just don't make them do the extra shit. Have them work on the lower res optimized shit first. You want to patch in something? Patch in the 4K resolution in 4 months. So the 5 people who use it will get it. Everyone else just wants a game that fucking works. Sorry, Mishael, I gotta disagree. He says 4K is the new norm. It's future-proofing. Wrong. Wrong. The thing is, there's no future-proofing. Because now they're talking about PS5 Pro running at 8K. But 4K doesn't run well. Why the fuck are we now getting 8K? The technology is advancing too fast for people to utilize. There's a difference between future-proofing and running faster than you should. You're going to run off the treadmill into your wall, basically. It doesn't make any sense. I got a $1 tip from Kirk. Do you think fiduciary responsibility would lead to nuclear fallout in the real world, like in the show Fallout would lead you to believe? I don't know. And we're not talking about the Fallout show right now either. I told you, I'm going to watch the whole show. I'm going to see what the plot and themes are, and I'm going to review it later in the week. I'm not talking about the Fallout show now. JJNS says, this is like having paved roads when most people are riding horses. Exactly. Imagine if an entire country had paved roads and no one drives cars yet. And now it hinders the horses because the paved roads hurt the horse hooves. Right? This is exactly right. We can't get the games to run at the lower res properly. Let's just keep creating more future tech and shit. That's like saying, we're going to now make it a new fuel source. We'll call it quantum juice. So we're going to have quantum juice. And we're going to have it, and we're going to sell it everywhere. Okay, it's a new fuel source, but what uses it? Oops, cars don't use quantum juice yet. But by the way, we're phasing out gas. You don't have quantum juice, but we don't have cars that run on quantum juice. So how are we going to get around? You advance the tech before things use the tech. Everyone's back here. They want to keep having this work first. Quantum juice is what they call prime energy drink. Well, I didn't mean to step on anyone's toes. Quantum juice I pulled out of my ass. It was as an idea. It's not real. I don't actually fart quantum juice. That's disgusting. Okay. Now people are like, oh. Ooh, I know. Gross. Thanks for everyone who supported the stream so far. Remember, this support carries over to the React show. And honestly, typically the React show doesn't get a lot of support on the streams, which sucks. That channel really is, it runs on memberships. If I didn't have members on that channel, I basically wouldn't be able to do the show. So thanks for supporting early. If you do support the React stream today, thank you. That helps a lot. Please do if you can. There you go. Okay. Folks, let us now adjourn the show so that I can get that stream set up and we can get going with the React show, shall we? Full day reacting today. I hope you guys are down for that. Remember, if you're into gameplay, I'll be back tomorrow with the full-on gameplay. All right? Thank you, everyone, for watching the Level 1 podcast. Definitely more chill vibe today. I definitely like some of the suggestions. Like, what do you guys think about the suggestion of me having a playlist that we play when I go on a break, right? Maybe we could do something like that. It's kind of interesting, but I guess the question is, what would it be? And I thank you all for hanging out. Tomorrow, perhaps we'll have a lot more to talk about. I guess we'll see. But in the meantime, thank you all, and see you on Monday.